ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। Okay, so we will now continue with the bhashya for this 10th vakya in the 4th brahmana of the first chapter. This is one of the most important vakyas in this Upanishad because here only we have this Mahavakya Aham Brahmasmi, and also what is the phala of this Jnanam Aham Brahmasmi, that also is described very beautifully here. And then if you don't know this, what is your status? Okay, as a person with Ajnanam, Avidya, ignorant people, what is their status also is described here. So everything is explained here very nicely. So we will look into this bhashya. Here the bhashya is quite detailed because Bhashyakara here first presents the view of another commentator who was there at that time. Okay, so from the other commentaries on the Bhashya, we know that that other commentator is called Bhartru Prapancha. Bhartru Prapancha was another person who wrote a vritti on this. Vritti means again commentary, you can say. So that Bhartru Prapancha's views are first presented here by Bhashyakara, and then it is refuted. So what was Bhartru Prapancha's views? We will now see. Brahma aparam sarva bhavasya sadhyatva upapattehe. So Bhartru Prapancha says Brahma here, whatever Aham Brahmasmi, correct? Or Brahmava idam agre asit tad atmanameva avet, like that it is there, correct? And that atmanameva avet means it knew itself. It knew itself as what? Aham Brahmasmi iti. As I am Brahman. What is this Brahman in Aham Brahmasmi? It is aparam. It is not param Brahma. Okay. The one who is knowing this Aham Brahmasmi iti, that is aparam Brahma. Why? Because the Sarva Bhava. See, on knowing, what happens? It is said that Tasmat Tat Sarvam Abhavat. On knowing Aham Brahmasmi, it became everything. Okay. So becoming everything is only possible for Aparam Brahma. Because becoming Sarva Bhava, attaining this Sarva Bhava, attaining the state of being the self of everything, is shown as something to be achieved or accomplished. Sadhyatva, it is to be accomplished. Sadhya. Sadhana means. Okay. Sadhya means ends or whatever you want to accomplish. So sadhana is means, sadhya is ends. So here, Sarva Bhava, attaining this Sarva Bhava is presented as an end or something to be accomplished. Therefore, here Brahman has to be considered as only Aparam Brahma. Aparam Brahma means not Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the one which is presented as limitless, which has no qualities, which is pure consciousness and existence. So that which is presented like this Param Brahma, it is not Param Brahma, it is Aparam Brahma. Aparam Brahma means you can take it as Saguna Brahma, Ishvara as the Jagat Karanam, like that you can take that. Okay, so now this Vrittikara himself, he is now explaining his position further. What is he saying? Nahi parasya brahmanaha sarva bhava apattihi Vijnana Sadhya. So he's saying, see, for Param Brahma, accomplishing or gaining this Sarva Bhava, the status of being everything, cannot be something which is to be accomplished through knowledge. For Param Brahma, it cannot be something to be accomplished, because Param Brahma is already limitless, correct? So something which is already everything, why should it achieve that state by knowing something? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so nahi parasya brahmanaha sarva bhava apattihi vijnana sadhya. It is not to be accomplished through knowledge of oneself. This sarva bhava, this status of being everything. Okay, further what? Vijnana sadhyancha sarva bhava apatti maha. And the Upanishad is very clearly saying this sarva bhava. Okay, sarva bhava apatti means this gain of being everything is being shown as accomplished through vijnana or knowledge. That has been said here clearly. Tasmat tat sarvam abhavat, like that. Okay, tasmat sat sarvam abhavat iti. So it has been said like this, that this Brahman, knowing itself as Brahman, became everything. Like this, since it is said, we have to take the Brahman which is knowing as Aparam Brahma, then only it makes sense. So he says, Tasmat Brahmava idam agra asit iti. Okay, iti Aparam Brahma iha bhavitum arhati. So this Brahmava idam agre asit, it is said here, correct? Brahman was there in the beginning. Then it knew itself as Aham Brahmasmi iti. And then it became everything. Therefore, this Brahma, which was there originally in the beginning, should be Aparam Brahma. By knowing itself as Param Brahma, it became Param Brahma. Like that they are saying. So Aparam Brahma, by knowing itself as Param Brahma, has become Param Brahma. And because of that, it is everything also. It has become everything. So that's how it can be. So Aparam Brahma iha bhavitum arhati. So the Brahma which is mentioned in the beginning as Brahmava idam agre asit has to be only Aparam Brahma. That only is tenable. He is saying that. Okay. Then he is giving further justifications also for his position. What is he saying now? Manushya adhikaradva tad bhavi brahmanaha syat sarvam bhavishyantaha manushya manyante itihi manushya prakritaha. See this in the previous verse. Okay, sarvam bhavishyantaha manushyaha manyante, like that it is saying. Okay, so these manushyaha, these human beings who are again brahmana, who want to know Brahman, they are saying that by knowing this Brahman, Brahma Vidyaya, you can become everything. And so this becoming everything is for these people who are interested to know Brahman, who are not Brahman anyway, correct? These people are not Brahman. So when we say Aparam Brahma, it can be taken as anything other than Brahman. So even Manushyaha, the human beings, here can be taken as Aparam Brahma, and they want to become Brahman, correct? That's how it is presented here, because by knowing this Brahman, this Brahma Vidya, one can become everything, like that is stated already. And the human beings are qualified for that specially. See, Manushya Adhikarat. So human beings are shown as the people who are qualified to receive this knowledge. Therefore, we have to say that this Brahmava idam agre asit, whatever is said there, is actually Aparam Brahma, because human beings are the ones who are qualified to know this. Like that it is presented already. It is Prakrita. Prakrita means it is coming. It is the subject matter which is under discussion. So the word Brahman can refer to the one who is going to know Brahman. See, because one question may come, how can the word Brahma be used to refer to a Manushya who is Aparam Brahma, let us say? Okay, or just Manushya we can take. See, Aparam Brahma can be taken as one position, or this Brahma can be taken simply as human beings, because human beings are under discussion with reference to Brahma Vidya. So they have the qualification, or they are the ones who are qualified to attain this Brahma Jnanam. Therefore, Brahmava idam agra asit, when it is said, can also be taken as human beings, because they are the ones who have the qualification to know Brahman. And further, there can be one question: how can you call these human beings as Brahma? If you ask like that, for that also this Bhartru Prapancha has an answer. What he says, Tad Bhavi. Because this human being is going to become Brahman by knowing Brahman, you can call him in the beginning itself as Brahman. Like, as soon as we join engineering college in the first year, correct? We can call ourselves engineer. Or those who join MBBS first year, they start calling themselves doctor, correct? Because they are going to become doctors, we can call them as doctors. So in future they will become doctor. Keeping that potential in mind, we can right now call them as doctors. Similarly, he is saying, if you take this as Manushya, because Va is means another koti he is presenting. Either you have to say this Brahma is Aparam Brahma, or you have to say that this Brahma Va idam agre asit, that Brahma is Manushyaha. They are human beings, and human beings themselves are addressed as Brahman, because they are the ones who are going to become Brahman by knowing Brahman. And they are under discussion anyway from the previous Vakya. So he is explaining that further. Teshancha abhyudaya nishreyasa sadhane visheshataha adhikaraha iti uktam. So they have the right or qualification for both abhyudaya and nishreyasa. Abhyudaya means all the things which you can gain here. Okay, all the prosperity, wealth, anything else which is desirable, which you can gain, is called Abhyudaya. So the Veda itself is looked upon as a means of knowledge, which is presenting you different means and ends. Okay, again, both the means and ends in some cases are totally unknown to you. Veda only is revealing to you. For example, heaven. Heaven as an end, you cannot know through Pratyaksha, Anumana, or any other Pramana. Okay, including science nowadays. Science is nothing but Pratyaksha and Anumana only. Okay, and Arthapatti and whatever else. All the things, the Laukika Pramanas can be considered as science also now. So, whatever you can achieve, that itself is two types are there. Whatever you want to achieve, something desirable. One is known, like you don't have a son and you want to have a son. Means Veda is giving you. Of course, if you don't have a son, you want to have a son, you can also go to some fertility clinics and all that. But then what happens, even after going there also, you do not have a son, let us say. So finally, some people turn to whatever is okay, any means is okay for me. Then let us say they turn to Veda. Now, what is Veda saying? You can do Putra Kameshti Yajna. Okay, so here the means is unknown, but the end is known. You want to have a son. In fact, even in this age, some 10-20 years back, I know people who have done Putra Kameshti and had a son. They had 2 daughters first, then they did Putra Kameshti Yajna and had a son. Okay, so don't ask me the identity and all that, but this has happened even nowadays. I'm saying it's not that it was done only in Dasharatha's time and all that. Correct? So even in Ramayana also, Dasharatha does this Putra Kameshti, and that's how he gets 4 children. Okay. Anyway, so in some cases the means are, of course, the means are not known in all cases, mostly because whatever means Veda is giving is not known. But ends are known in some cases. In some cases, both means and ends are not known. Like Swarga. Swarga is there as an end only. Veda has to present it. It is not available to other means of knowledge. And then it is giving you a means also. Agnihotrena yajeta, Jyotishtomena yajeta, Swarga Kamaha. So if you want to go to Swarga, do Jyotishtoma, and then it is giving you all the details also. So Veda itself is nothing but a book of means and ends. And some of the ends are called abhyudaya, means whatever you want to achieve in this world as an individual, or even hereafter you want to go to some swarga and enjoy, all that is called abhyudaya. Then there is one more end called nishreyas. What is this nishreyas? Nishreyas is the ultimate good for you. Okay, what is this? Nishreyas is moksha. Anything other than moksha is called abhyudaya. Moksha, freedom from all limitations, knowing oneself as the limitless, complete, a person who does not lack anything, okay, who is not a wanting person, that is nishreyas. For both these things, okay, the sadhana, the means is the Veda only, and for both these, attaining both these things, there is a visheshataha adhikaraha. Special qualification is there for human beings, because animals do not have the capability to know, or it does not have the self-consciousness evolved so much that it doesn't even recognize a fundamental problem. So if you do not recognize your problem, then you cannot find a solution for that. Okay, and devas, for deva, their sharira is so evolved that they are enjoying so much. Okay, so with so much enjoyment, they also cannot get the right vairagya. They may not be interested to know oneself and all that. But human beings are mishra, they are in between. Okay, so we have special circumstances where we recognize our fundamental problem as a limited individual, and we are all the time struggling to get rid of our limitations. So that being the case, we are specially qualified for this knowledge. Therefore, this Brahma here is Manushya only. Okay, and further he is saying, na parasya brahmanaha na api aparasya prajapatehe. Okay, so here he is saying this is not for this kind of a situation. Being the adhikari for this knowledge cannot be there for Param Brahma anyway. Param Brahma is not a person, or as an entity. Param Brahma cannot be qualified for this knowledge. And even for Prajapati or Aparam Brahma also, this is not there, this situation. Okay, because the Prajapati is a special jiva only, we have to say, at one level, with advanced upadhi. The conditioning factor which makes one a Prajapati is already the total upadhi. Okay, it is the totality of all the individual upadhis. So in one way, Prajapati also is already everything. Okay, and Prajapati also has all knowledge, we have to say. In that, self-knowledge also has to be included. So that way, if you look at it, human beings only fit this Brahma. When it is said Brahmava idam agra asit. So now you can say one view is Prajapati is the Aparam Brahma, and Aparam Brahma became Param Brahma. Or even better explanation is human beings are the ones who were there initially without knowing who they are, and then they knew themselves as Brahman and became everything because they are specially qualified for this knowledge. Okay, further what? Ataha Dvaita Ekatva Apara Brahma Vidyaya Karma Sahitaya Apara Brahma Bhavam Upasampannaha Bhojyad Apavrittaha Sarva Prapti Uchinna Kama Karma Bandhanaha Parabrahma Bhavi Brahma Vidya Hetoho Brahma iti abhidhiyate. Okay, so now he is finally summarizing his entire view in this sentence with some complicated compounds, but we will try to understand this simply. So ataha, so therefore, finally he is saying therefore what? Dvaita ekatva apara brahma vidyaya. So there is a, again, Bhartru Prapancha is a Dvaitin. For him, human being also is of the same order of reality as Aparam Brahma and Param Brahma, like that. So everything is real, and the Bheda also is real. Okay. So here he is saying Dvaita Ekatva Apara Brahma Vidyaya. So the Apara Brahma Vidya is there. That means you know yourself as Brahman, who is Aparam Brahma, and again you are doing Upasana, that I am Prajapati, because why he is talking about Aparam Brahma and Prajapati is, some of you may not have attended this completely. The first three Brahmanas here, we are talking about Upasana. Okay. So different types of Upasana, Prana Upasana, Agni Upasana and all that. And even Ashwamedha Yaga in the form of a Upasana. Initially it was talked about. All that leading you to gain this Prajapati. You can become a Prajapati then. If you do this Upasana, then you can attain the state of being the Prajapati in the next life. Like this Upasana was presented. So there is a context in this also that we have to understand. So here he is saying this, the person, human being is doing Upasana, that I am this Prajapati. Okay. He is visualizing like that and doing Upasana along with karma also. Karma sahitaya. So karma also you should not leave. So this position typically is called Jnana Karma Samuchaya. Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada. This is called. And Shankaracharya is actually refuting this view a lot in different bhashyas. If you take Taittiriya Bhashya, if you take Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, and even here, his main opponents are either Purva Mimamsaka, who talk only about karma, or those who talk about karma and upasana combined. Okay, you have to combine karma and upasana, and that will give you moksha, jnana karma samuchaya. So for them, aham brahmasmi is nothing but visualizing yourself as Brahman. So you are visualizing yourself as Aparam Brahma here, he is saying. So you have you are doing upasana, that you have identity with this Aparam Brahma, and you have to do karma also along with that. And because of that, you gain Aparam Brahma Bhavam Upasampanna. So you gain identity with Aparam Brahma, they say. Okay. So you become one with Aparam Brahma, which is Prajapati in this. Then what? Bhodyad apavrittaha. Then this person, since he is now interested only in doing this upasana and karma and not interested in any other enjoyments. Okay, so he has turned away from all other enjoyments. He has full vairagya. He is a very evolved person that way. Okay, Bhodyad apavrittaha means this person has complete vairagya with reference to all the enjoyments. He has turned away from all other things he is not interested in. Okay. And sarva prapti uchinna kama karma bandhana. So sarva prapti means what? You have to attain something, correct? Means that is called prapti. And but from that, he has uchinna means again he has broken, you can say. Okay, he is broken his connection with everything which can be achieved through normal karma. Because Veda itself is presenting so many things. You can do so many different yajna and achieve so many different things. It's like a supermarket. Okay. So many things are presented to you. And you go inside, you like everything in fact. But anyway, you can do only so many things, correct? And so you have to do whatever you can do to achieve what you want. But this person is sarva prapti uchinna, means he has now broken his association with all these things which can be achieved through kama, whatever. You first have to have desire for it, and then you have to do it. You have to do something. But this person, having broken his ties with all these things. Okay, he has now broken. This kama karma bandha is not there for this person. He is also free from all the, or he has turned away from all enjoyment, such a person. So this human being is now presented as somebody who is very evolved, who has vairagya with reference to all karma phala other than whatever he wants to become now. Okay, he has turned away from everything else. Okay, and then what? Doing all these things, Parabrahma bhavi, Brahma vidya hetoho, Brahma iti abhidhiyate. So, being a person like this, he now becomes Parabrahma bhavi. Okay, now he identifies himself with Param Brahma. And how does he want to gain this identity? Through Brahma Vidya Hetoho. So the person who wants, see, he is doing upasana, that he is Aparam Brahma, he is doing karma, he has vairagya towards all other enjoyments and karma phala, and then he wants this identity with Param Brahma, and he plans to achieve that through this Brahma Vidya, and such a person is called Brahma, he is saying. Brahma iti abhidhiyate, finally. So the word Brahma which is used here is a person who is like this. Okay, so that is what he is finally saying, therefore, like that. Now further he is explaining that. Drishtascha loke bhavinim vrittim ashritya shabda prayogaha. So to explain this part, tadbhavi brahmanaha syat, or whatever, even here Brahma bhavi, the one who is Brahma bhavi, and that person himself is called Brahma, that he is explaining here. Even in the world we see that, correct? Loke drishtascha, we see even in this worldly life, bhavinim vrittim ashritya shabda prayogaha. So bhavinim vrittim means what? The status which you are going to achieve, based on that, okay, words are used. So yata vodanam pachati iti. So here it is an interesting example they are giving. Shastre cha parivrajakaha sarvabhuta abhaya dakshinam ityadi tata iha iti kechite brahma bhavi purushaha brahmanaha iti vyachakshate. So the one who is wanting to become this Brahman, that person itself is called Brahma, that person purushaha, that brahmanaha is called Brahma, who is desirous of knowing this Brahman. And for that, what he is saying, even in this world, this kind of a usage is there, word usage. One example he is giving is Odanam Pachati. Okay, Odanam means here rice. So he cooks rice, or they are cooking rice, like that you can say. But rice itself is not really cooked there. Okay, because the Odanam, the word in Sanskritam means cooked rice. Okay, Vrihi means actually uncooked rice is called different. So even in Tamil we say Arisi. Arisi is typically uncooked. Then we say Sadam. Sadam means cooked. But when somebody is cooking rice, we say Sadam Samikira. Correct? He is cooking cooked grains, means it doesn't make any sense, correct? The uncooked grains only are called as cooked grains because it is going to become cooked. So Odanam Pachati, here Odanam is really cooked grains, but actually cooking is happening of the uncooked grains only, but uncooked grains are going to become cooked. Therefore, the word for cooked grains itself is used here. Similarly, in the Shastra, Parivrajakaha sarvabhuta abhaya dakshinam ityadi, it is there. Okay, so the Parivrajakaha, the one who is going to give up everything. Okay, Parivrajakaha means, and the one who is going to go all over the place. Parivrajaka sannyasis normally are not supposed to stay in one place for more than 3 nights. They just go all over the place. because they don't want to get attached to any one place also. And so those who take sannyasa and want to be parivrajaka, they undergo a certain ritual first. Okay. In fact, if you go on Shivratri night to Rishikesh, you can see many ashrams in Rishikesh give sannyasa to people on Shivratri. Even our Guru, Pujya Swamiji Dayananda ji used to give sannyasa every year during Shivratri. People used to go for that specially. They have to prepare themselves and all that. Previous night, whole night, they have to do japa, Gayatri japa, whatever. And then there is a particular ritual. You have to do your own karma. Okay. All your apara karma, you have to do yourself for yourself. And then you are supposed to take a new birth like that. And you give abhaya to everybody. Means I am not going to compete with anybody, anywhere. That is abhayam. So giving this abhayam is a very big thing for a sannyasi. See, once you become a sannyasi, you cannot compete for anything. As a grihastha, you are still a competitor. You are a wealth creator. You have to compete for resources in the society to create wealth, whichever way it is. Okay, whatever is permitted for you according to varna and ashrama, you are still a competitor. Although competition was very limited in our society, because you were expected to do certain things because of birth-based duties and all that. But even within that community, still competition is there, correct? But a sannyasi is a non-competitor. Sannyasi does not want to evoke fear in anybody. Sannyasi cannot attack even if somebody comes and attacks them. That is the level of abhayam they have given. Only for a sannyasi, ahimsa is complete. Okay, so they have to follow ahimsa totally. So, but here, that person is already referred to as parivrajakaha. That is the important point here. He is not yet a parivrajaka. He is just now giving abhaya, okay, to everybody. So he is performing that. There is a viraja homam and all that you have to do. So there is a particular ritual. So the one who is performing that ritual is not yet a sannyasi, but still that person is called parivrajakaha because he is going to become a parivrajakaha. Okay, so these are all bhavinim vrittim ashritya shabda prayogaha. Both this odanam and parivrajakaha. So this is there in loka and also in shastra. In the Veda also such usage is there, and in general world also such usage is there here, odanam. Therefore, I can very well say this Brahma is the human being who wants to attain identity with Brahman. Okay, so you can say like that. Like this, some people are saying. This is finally Bhashyakara is saying. Purushaha Brahmanama hiti vyachakshate. So two views he has presented. One is Aparam Brahma, another is Manushya. Okay, or these two views are presented by Bhartar Prapancha only, I think. Both are okay for the other camp. But we cannot accept both of these interpretations. So Bhashyakara now starts. Tanna. It is not so. Why? Sarva bhava apattehe anityatva dosha. So, if you say that you do not have sarva bhava now and you want to attain it later, then it will become anitya, because anything which starts in time and in space will end. It will be anitya. It cannot be nitya phala. But moksha is being talked about as nitya all the time in the Shastra. That is one of the main differentiators, correct? Compared to anything else you can achieve, moksha is supposed to be exalted. Why? Because the moksha phala, the result, the freedom from all limitations is supposed to be forever. In fact, it's free from time itself. It's not subjected to time. But if you say that it has to be achieved, it is not there already now, and it has to be achieved later. So that we can call it as accomplishing the unaccomplished. Okay, if something is unaccomplished now, and I want to accomplish it later, that is accomplishing the unaccomplished, anything like that, okay, will be non-eternal. It is not nitya, so that defect will be there. Anityatva dosha. Okay, so he further explains that nahi saha asti loke paramarthataha yaha nimitta vashad bhavantaram apadyate nityascha iti. So in this world there is nothing, okay, like that. Like what? That there is a person or object, okay, which attains another state due to some karana. Nimitta vashat means through some cause. So through some cause, one vastu or one object attains a state of being another, becoming another, and then being like that forever. Nitya. Okay, so bhavantaram apadyate nityascha. This is very important. Of course, bhavantaram apadyate we see all the time, right? Milk is becoming curd, then clay powder is becoming clay pot, like that. One thing attains another form. We are seeing all the time. Transformation is taking place, and causes are there for that also. Due to different causes, transformation can take place, but it cannot be nitya. That is never there in the loka. Really, you cannot find any case where a transformation has happened and it is forever like that only. Therefore, what tatha brahma vijnana nimitta krita chet sarva bhava apatihi nitya cha iti viruddham. So therefore, what? This sarva bhava apati, if you say it is really being attained, it is not there already, and you are attaining it totally newly through Brahma Vidya or Brahma Vijnana, knowledge of Brahman, and also say that it is Nitya, whatever he has attained is eternal. Again, eternal means not long time, understand that. Eternal means that which was, that which is, that will be. In fact, that which is free from time alone can be eternal. So that result cannot be eternal. Those two are contradictory to each other. It is viruddham. Therefore, what anityatve cha karma phala tulyata iti uktaha doshaha. Okay, if it is not nitya, then it becomes anitya. According to you, even that achieving that brahma bhava or sarva bhava will be anitya, because then it will be equivalent to any other karma phala tulyata, and that dosha will be there. Like any other karma phala, like any other results of action, it will be non-eternal. It will come to an end. See, even going to Swarga is being presented as a big deal by most theologies, whether Indian theologies or Western theology or Gulf theology, whatever theology. Okay, most of them are doing only tourism promotion. They are presenting to you something very nice. You can enjoy and all that, and to do that, you believe me, you do whatever I say, and if you believe me, you can go there. That's all most theologies are. Veda also is saying that in one way, correct? Veda also says there is Swarga, and you do whatever I say, all this, you lead a life of dharma, and you do all this karma, you can go to Swarga. But Veda doesn't say it is permanent. Shine punye martya lokam vishanti. Once the punya is gone, you have to come back. Correct? So all karma phala is anitya. That the Veda is very clear. Even Swarga is karma phala. Once the punya is exhausted, you have to come back. So that dosha is there. Okay. So now, further what he says, avidya krita asarvatva nivrittim chet sarva bhava apattim brahma vidya phalam manyase brahma bhavi purusha kalpana vyartha syat. So now the only other option here is what? Because you cannot say the sarva bhava apattihi, gaining this status of being everything, is accomplishing an unaccomplished thing. then that will lead you to having this dosha of anityatva. Okay, the other option is we can say accomplishing the accomplished. Okay, there is this concept of accomplishing the accomplished. What is that? I have my specs, correct? So I have my specs, and what do? I keep it like this. Now in fact, it is a little bit blurred. Then I am searching all over the place. Correct? Where is my specs? And I'm not able to find anywhere. I go all over. So here, I am already the person with the specs, correct? Specs is there right with me only. But I am searching as though I am not the person with the specs all over, and I will never get it because here the searched and the searcher are one and the same. The searched is hidden inside the searcher. Therefore, you will not be able to find it anywhere else. Then my wife has to come and tell me, hey idiot, it is there right on your forehead. So here, I am actually accomplishing the accomplished. I am already the person with the specs, but due to ignorance, I became a person without the specs, even though I was in reality a person with specs. Then again through knowledge, somebody pointed it out to me, I again became the person with the specs. But here this is called accomplishing the accomplished. Okay. So in this case, you can say, yes, I am already everything, but due to ignorance, I did not know that fact. And then Guru and Shastra is now coming and pointing it out to me that you are the limitless already, you are everything. And with that knowledge, I have now attained everything. If you say like that, then Brahma Bhavi Purusha Kalpana Vyartha. Then you cannot say this Brahma, which is said here, is Manushya. Okay? Because accomplishing the accomplished means the same person due to ignorance thinks that he does not have anything, and that same person again due to knowledge attains whatever he wants. So it is the same person attaining the same thing which he already had, but he lost it due to ignorance. It cannot be somebody else, correct? So the Manushya who is not Brahman cannot try to achieve becoming everything or becoming Brahman. That kind of a kalpana, that kind of an imagination or explanation is wrong, and it is waste also. It is useless. Okay, if you talk about avidya krita asarvatva nivrittim, asarvatva nivrittim. So if the removal of asarvatvam, that me not being everything, my limitations, my being a limited being, that has to be removed. Okay, and that my being a limited being itself is due to ignorance, and that ignorance is being removed means then I become everything. That is fine. But already I was everything. Due to ignorance only I was thinking I am not everything. So I am the one who is everything already. I am the one who thinks I am not everything due to ignorance. I am the one who becomes everything also due to knowledge. In all these three things, the I is the same. It cannot be two different persons and all that. So you are, whatever you are saying, that the Manushya who is not Brahman becomes Brahman and all is Vyartha, it is useless. Okay, it's not correct. Okay, then what? Prag Brahma Vijnanadapi Sarvaha Jantuhu Brahmatvat Nityameva Sarva Bhava Apannaha Paramarthataha. So Bhashyakara is giving a note here. What is he saying? Even before you gain this Brahma Jnanam, you are already all Jantus, he says. Sarvaha Jantuhu, all beings are really Brahman only. They are all Brahman only really. Wherever there is self-identity, self as a conscious being is there, that is Brahman alone. There is only one self which is conscious. There is only one consciousness in fact. That same consciousness is shining everywhere in all the beings. So wherever the I consciousness is there, I, that identity, that I is always Brahman alone. And all beings are really Brahman only. Correct? So that I is always Sarva Bhava only. It is always everything. It is all beings. It is the self of all beings. It is everything. Therefore, that Sarva Bhava Apannaha Paramarthataha Nityameva, it is already there. Okay? But what happens? Avidyaya tu Abrahmatvam Asarvatvam cha Adhyaropitam. So due to ignorance, this Abrahmatvam, I am not Brahman, I am not limitless, I am a limited being, and therefore I am not everything. Asarvatvam cha Adhyaropitam, it is only superimposed. It is superimposition. It's not reality. In reality, all beings are Brahman only. Okay, but due to avidya, due to ignorance, we gain this abrahmatvam. We think that we are not everything. We think that we are limited. That is only a superimposition. How? Example, yatha shuktikayam rajatam. Okay, so like in a shell, you see silver, or vyomniva talamalatwadi, in space. Okay, you see as though there is some covering is there, correct? Some shed or whatever, and also some, you think that it has a certain color or it is dirty and all that. Okay, like this we are superimposing something on the space also, which is not there really. So tata iha brahmani adhyaropitam avidyaya abrahmatvam asarvatvam cha brahma vidyaya nivartyate iti manyase yadi tada yuktam. So Bhashyakara here, he says, so similarly here, in Brahman, due to avidya, this abrahmatvam, that I am not Brahman and I am limited, asarvatvam, I am not everything, all these things are superimposed in Brahman, and this avidya is there, and due to Brahma Vidya, this avidya is removed, Brahma Vidyaya nivartyate iti manyase yadi. If you say like that, then it is yuktam, then it is tenable, then it is proper. Otherwise, whatever kalpana you are doing, your imaginary explanations are all useless. It is not correct, it is not tenable, it is not proper. Therefore what? Yat paramarthataha asit param brahma, brahma shabdasya mukyartha bhutam, brahma va idamagre asit ityasmin vakye uchyate iti vaktum yatha bhutarthavaditvat vedasya. So therefore what we have to say? Paramarthataha asit param brahma. Whoever is in reality param brahma, and that Brahma Vakya, the Brahman word there should take the Mukyartha of Brahman only. Brahman means that which is limitless, that which is big, without any qualification. Brihi Vriddhau, that is the dhatu from which Brahman the word comes. So that which is big, unqualified big, unlimited, that is the main meaning of Brahman. That Brahman only we have to take. When the Shruti says Brahma va idamagre asit, in this sentence, this Brahma is really Param Brahma only, and that alone you can give the meaning. You cannot give any other meaning to that. Okay, that alone is Vaktum. We have to say that. Okay, in this Vakya, Uchyate iti Vaktum Yatha Bhutartha Vaditvat Vedasya. So the Veda has to say whatever is there in reality as it is, correct? It cannot say something else. In fact, later on there will be some other arguments will come. We will see that. Okay. So here we have to say the Veda is only revealing to you whatever is there as it is, the truth. Then only it's a valid means of knowledge, correct? So if you take the Veda as a valid means of knowledge and it is revealing to you the truth, then you have to only say this Param Brahma alone initially was there as the Ajnani. Okay, and it thought that it is limited. Then it knew itself as Aham Brahmasmi, as the limitless, and then became everything. That is the only proper meaning we can give. Then only Veda also, whatever it says, will be truthful. Otherwise, it will be something other than the truth. It won't be truthful. Okay, its words will not be truthful anymore. Then it's not even a valid means of knowledge. So that's a very serious thing for us. We say that Veda Vak means it's a very big thing for us. If somebody says something, we even say, in a Veda Vaka. In Tamil also we say, is it Veda Vak? This guy has said, is it Veda Vak or what? Means Veda Vak means it is something which has to be true. We give such a status to the Veda because it is a ultimate means of knowledge for us. And that means of knowledge has to reveal things as it is. It cannot say something else other than whatever it is there. Therefore, keeping that in mind, we have to only give an interpretation like this. This alone will fit here. So, like this Bhashyakara is saying here. Then, further what? Natu iyam kalpana yukta Brahma Shabdartha Viparitaha Brahma Bhavi Purushaha Brahma iti uchyate iti Shruta Hani Ashruta Kalpanayaha Anyayatvat Mahattare Prayojanantare Asati Avidyakrita Vyatirekena Abrahmatvam Asarvatvam cha Vidyate eva iti chet na tasya Brahma Vidyaya Apohana Anupapatte Apoha Anupapatte. Okay. So now Natu Iyam Kalpana Yukta. This whatever imagination you are doing is not tenable, proper. What is that? Brahma Shabdartha Viparitaha. So the word Brahma has its meaning. But now you are taking the Brahman is meaning Manushya. Means it is Brahma Shabdartha Viparitartha. It is something different from the actual meaning of Brahman. And one who wants to become Brahman or attain identity with Brahman, that person who is not Brahman, who wants to attain the identity with Brahman, is called as Brahman, you are saying. That person who is not Brahman is called Brahman, means that is not proper. If you say like that, what will happen? Okay. So what will happen is, Shruta Hani means whatever the Veda is revealing, you are giving up that. Okay. Shruta Hani means whatever has been heard from the Veda, whatever the Veda is saying, whatever the Veda has revealed, that you are giving it up. Okay, so it will become contrary to what the Veda says. And Ashruta Kalpanayaha, it will become Ashruta Kalpana also. Whatever is not said, you are imagining that. You are trying to give some explanation. And whatever the Veda has said, you have given it up. This is not correct. Okay, we cannot go and interpret in this manner. So whatever the Veda says, we have to interpret it correctly. You cannot interpret, you have all the intellectual capability, grammar, etc. Okay. Based on that, you only want to interpret in whichever way you already have decided. This is the problem with most acharyas, correct? Because they are all very great people. We are not saying that they are not great. They are highly intellectual, they are bhaktiman, they are saints. In their personal lives, they are great. All that is fine. But when it comes to interpreting the Veda, you have to interpret, you have to surrender to the Veda and interpret the Veda such that whatever it is revealing, that has to be the main thing for us. Your own likes and dislikes should not come in between, and you are trying to wring some meaning out of it, correct? That should not be done. That's what Bhashyakara is pointing out here. We will continue this next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.